Food. Food. Yummy. Yummy.
Hi, I'm Andy and this is Menu from Mars. We're gonna do spaghetti sauce today. There's nothing special about the spaghetti sauce I'm gonna do. It's just the way we put it together. It's the way we like it. This recipe, I believe, came from my grandmother, and then my mother took it, and then I took it, and everybody's made their own twists on it in my family, so this is mine. If you hear whines or growls or anything, we got a new puppy. His name is Vader, and we rescued him from Mountain Roddy Rescue, not from them, but with them, over in upstate New York. So we're dealing with him too. To begin with, you're gonna need some cans of contadina sauce, puree, and tomato paste, some red wine, some garlic. This is the leftover tops. I roasted some garlic earlier this morning that I'm gonna mix with butter and put on toasts and bagels and things like that. Parmesan cheese, mushrooms, peppers, onions, carrot, Italian breadcrumbs, sausage, meatballs are in the oven. My wife made those. We'll get into that another time, but you can use almost any meatball that you want to. Am I leaving anything out? Spices, obviously. I'm actually going to make a double batch here, so I'll be pausing in between because I'm going to make some sauce for my son. We like to make his a little different because we like to jar it and keep it downstairs on the shelf so he can have spaghetti anytime he wants, and I can't jar the stuff I put meat in. So with these, normally I go to Sam's and I get a particular kind, but we had an opportunity recently to get some sausage, hot Italian sausage, from when we were first making this sauce, and I really liked it back then, so I'm going to try it again this time. I like to cut my sausages, each sausage, into thirds, and then we're just going to put them on a pan with aluminum foil. So I am going to try to whip through this today, try to make it as interesting as possible, and hopefully at the end of it, it'll be a nice simple sauce that you can put together for your family. We like this. It's thick. There's lots of vegetables and meat in it. Lots of spices, lots of garlic, and goes good with anything. I use it to make lasagna. I use it to make just spaghetti, ravioli, everything. Anything, chicken parmesan, anything you need sauce for. So, like I said, it's a very basic red sauce. It's not, and it's not secret at all. So, here we go. I will take these and I will put these in the oven for about 20 minutes. And then when the oven goes off, I will flip them and put them in for 20 more minutes. And then when they're done, at the very, very end, I add them to the sauce. Just when I start the sauce cooking. But that's it, man. Hot Italian sausage, ready for the oven. The third portion of meat is hamburger. We buy ours in bulk and we vacuum seal it in 1, 1.5, and 2 pound bags. This is just going to be a 1 pound bag because we have a pound of meatballs in the oven. This we're going to ground up just normally on the oven into little pieces, chunks, and drain all the fat out of it, and then it'll sit and wait till the very end when we'll throw it in the sauce too. So if you've ever browned hamburger before, that's all you're doing. Put it in a pan on the oven, on the stovetop, and cook it. Woo! Gotta flip the meatballs. So if you don't know how to brown hamburger, write to me. I'll come to your house and hit you in the head with a brick. Hamburger's browned. We have sausage and meatballs cooking in the oven. Again, this is what I do because I like it when the lid comes up and I don't have to go fishing for it. I start it one way, just a half a crank, and then I go back the other way and go all the way around the can. And just before you reach the point in which you started, it'll pop up like that. It just makes it easier. It's nothing special. When I used to make this way back in the day when I first met my wife, we used to make up big, huge pots of this like this, and we'd put it in the freezer in the refrigerator, and then we eat pasta for like a month and a half with it. Of course, this was back when you could get the store brands, you know, $5, $10 for $1, a box of pasta. It was great. We were poor and just starting out, so this was a great way to make our money go a long way, which surprises me that she wants anything to do with it now, because I'm the type of person that as long as it's good food, I can eat it every day of the week. It doesn't matter to me. She can't eat the same thing every day, so I'm surprised she wants anything to do with it now. But 2 cans of puree, 2 cans of sauce, and then a can of tomato paste. I use a big one. I think it's 18 ounces. Some people put in less, but I like my sauce to be thick. So I'm gonna go ahead and clear this away and get ready to cut up my vegetables. So, okay, I forgot to put the poor man in me part in this. I will usually put a little bit of water just from the sink in this can and swirl it around, and then dump it in this can and swirl it around, just so that I get all of the stuff out of it. There's just something in me that hates leaving stuff in the can. So I just wanted to throw that in. We have moved to the vegetable portion of our program. Mushrooms, onions, peppers, garlic, carrot. These are the vegetables I put in. If you listen closely, you can hear my puppy whining in the other room. The mushrooms, I just take and I wash them, and these were cut real thick for some reason, but I took a whole big package and I just dump them in, and they're ready to go. The carrot is going to be similar. I don't skin it. I just cut the ends off it and then chop it in half, and that goes in. And then we have the onions, peppers, and garlic. So you just chop these up as normal and use them the way you normally would. Now, I know a lot of times when I'm cooking, you see me cut up vegetables and cook them before I add. We actually like our vegetables and our sauce to kind of stand up. So although we like the onion soft, we like the peppers to be a little crispy. So with this, I just put a fine chop on all of this. Raw goes right into the pan. And I am going to do 2 onions today. 2 large peppers. These onions are small, that's why I'm doing 2. And once they're minced up and ready to go, I will move them into the pot. And then we'll work on the garlic. The garlic takes forever because I like my garlic very finely chopped. So you'll get to see the before and after of that as well. I'll probably add a couple of cloves to that from a fresh garlic. Yeah, you heard it. I'm gonna go ahead and start chopping up the onion to add, and I'll be right back. I've diced up the onion, and there's a little bit more here than I want. I usually use 1 large onion. I figured 2 small would do it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit away. Time to flip the sausage. I'm gonna take a little bit away and use it for my son's sauce, and this is about what you want, the size of 1 good big onion. So you just take that, you dump it in, and you start in on your peppers. So I'll start chopping those. And I wish I could do a speed up thing for you this time, but because there's a lot of stuff going on right now, I need to stop the camera and get to it. I've pulled the sausage from the stove. The oven, they need to be rotated. Meatballs are ready to go in the sauce when that's ready. Meat over there. The hamburger, make sure you drain it. We cook everything on aluminum to get all the fat and oil out. If you don't drain the hamburger, if you don't do it that way with the meat, you're gonna have an oily sauce. I don't like an oily sauce. I've had oily sauces. They're good sometimes. But for this, I don't like it. So you just want to take them and you want to flip them all over. You should probably use a fork or something like that. I'm going to wash my hands, and I've been touching this hot crap so long that it doesn't bother me. But you don't burn yourself flipping these over. Just take a fork and roll them if that's what you want to do. Try to keep track of the ones you're flipping over, like I'm not. And we'll pop them back in the oven for another 20-25 minutes. That's up to you how well done you want them done. We're gonna cook this sauce for 2, 3, 4 hours depending, and it's a taste thing. So you want to cook them as long as you need to. I'm gonna go another probably 25 minutes on these, and we'll be back afterwards. Cutting up peppers next. Woo! Peppers! Peppers! Okay. Very simple. Doing the same thing you did with the onions. You're just cutting them into strips and then chopping them. They can be as small or as large as you would like them to be, but I just cut them into strips and then go back over them like so. They can be big, small, anything. And what I'll probably do is go back and give them a little finer of a cut when I'm done cutting everything up. But I have 2 whole peppers, and then I'm gonna chop up some fresh garlic, and I'm gonna show you what my roasted garlic looks like, and I'm gonna try a little of that in my sauce this time too. See what that tastes like. So, as you see, same. I'm just doing this, chopping it up. I'll be back in a bit. All right, so I've been informed that I'm remembering a different time when I used to make double batches of this sauce, and that's why when I look down, I say, why do I have so many vegetables? So 1 pepper, 1 onion with the size that we're making. I'm gonna take half of this and put it off to the side for my son's sauce, which I'll do on camera as well so you can see it, but at least they're cut up. Yeah, I was poor, leave me alone. Peppers go in. Don't forget these that you left on the table, and check when you do it, there'll be some on the table. Now we move to garlic. So I'm gonna chop that garlic up right after I cut up this little piece of onion, and I'll be back with you in a minute for the garlic. Garlic. What I did this morning, what I normally do, let's stop there, is I take a whole clove of garlic. I pull out as many pieces as I can before you get to those really thin, yucky ones. I crush them, and then I start dicing them up. With this one, I made roasted garlic this morning. And like I told you before, you can take this roasted garlic, eat it straight. It's very good. Some people don't like the texture. I do. I like mushy things. So, when you cut the tops off, you have to cut them off enough to expose all the garlic to put the butter and the salt and the pepper and everything like that in. My wife's messing with me. And you end up with leftover garlic. And just with 3 cloves, this is how much garlic I got left over. It is probably got me halfway there to what I need today. So I'm going to try some of this, but we'll get to that in a minute. right now, I'm just chopping up the garlic. And this is going to take a long time. Hear the puppy? Because I like it very, very fine, almost to a point where it's liquefied. So I will sit here, and this is probably what I spend most of my time on any one given thing. I will sit here for 10, 15 minutes, as long as it takes. I used to use one of those choppers, but it's loud and it takes a lot of effort. I'm lazy, and you know, I got to get out and mow the grass at some point today, which is kind of why I'm doing this. I didn't want to mow the grass until it's rained here for like 2 weeks. I got to wait for the sun, which is finally out, to dry it up a little bit, or I'll never be able to get through it all. So I'm just gonna sit here and hack this up for a little bit, and when I'm ready to move on to the roasted garlic, I'll come back. Don't miss me while I'm gone. Okay, I've been at it a bit. Chopped up my garlic the way I want it. I'm gonna use some of this for my sun sauce, so I'm only gonna take about 2/3 of it. Goes right into the pot with everything else. And this I will put in here for when I make his sauce. Now, this is the roasted garlic I made earlier. You take these and you just peel off the pieces, and you should be able to squeeze them right out or pull them right out, but you can literally just eat this. Mix it with butter, a little bit of salt, and put it on a bagel, piece of toast. When you're eating spaghetti, spread it on top of a piece of bread, for some garlic bread. Yeah, I said garlic. Given where I'm from, I'm allowed to. See, look at, you can squeeze them, comes right out as a mushy paste. I am going to see what I can do here. Woo-hoo-hoo. All right, that's all of it. And that clove, I made 3 of them this morning. And I'm interested to see, get this all cut up. And it'll cut up a lot differently, but it's going to be a paste, so I'm going to mack this up and add it to both sauces and see what we come up with. I'll put half, 2/3 in there, and we'll put half in there. And we'll see if it breaks down in the sauce. Woo-hoo. And then I'll just eat it. If you've never had roasted garlic, not only is it good for keeping vampires away, but it'll keep damn near everybody else away too. You eat this, it's hot, it's spicy, and that's just the garlic. I put butter on it and some salt, so it's very good. And in the bottom of here, if you keep it like this, you get this dark oil. It's salty, it's garlicky, it's actually nutty, it's very, very good. That would be great on some toast, but oh, this is so good. If you try it and you don't like the first bite, give it a couple of bites. As your tongue gets used to the garlic, you'll start to be able to taste the flavors in it. Excellent, excellent stuff. And I've got 2 more that I plan to, like I said, mix with a little bit of butter, and then 1 that I'm probably just going to mash up and eat. So, spices next. So, I'll be right back. There are all our vegetables cut up and ready to be mixed in. We've added all the vegetables to our sauce. And then I just give it a quick stir to get everything in it. And we can start adding our spices and the rest of it. So we always start with a little wine. I use Merlot. I used to use Cabernet Sauvignon, but I started drinking the Merlot a while back, so I just kind of went with that because it was always here and available. But any red wine will do. I would suggest something you drink. I know a lot of people say that, and you think that they're just. But if you wouldn't drink it, you probably won't want to eat it. So I just need a measuring cup. I'm gonna put about a cup in here. And I'm gonna take a little. Now that sat in my wine fridge for a long time. Get a little mix. Breadcrumbs. Half a cup to a cup. I just sprinkle it, cover the top, make a real thin layer. And that goes in there like that. Give it a stir. I stir it after I add everything. Couple tablespoons of sugar. I'm gonna go with 3. Give it a little spin. I usually do this on the stove and already have the heat going, but because you're here, I'm gonna do it slower, like this. 2 medium to large size bay leaves. Oh, those always smell so good, don't they? Italian seasoning. This is just the first batch of spices. I probably I don't measure my spices, to be honest with you. I'll let you take a look at this. Here we go. Coming up. That's what it looks like. That's how much Italian seasoning I put in. I just slightly cover the entire thing. I'll mix that in. I'll do the same with the rest of the spices. All right, Italian seasoning is in there. A little bit of oregano. Same thing, just a light covering on the bottom. I put in probably about 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. And I am missing an ingredient. I'll be right back. Okay. I always do that. Why do I do that? Okay. Meat. Time to add the meat. Meatballs. Drained hamburger, so it's not oily. And the sausage just came out. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix this. Now I usually make this in a smaller pan, so it almost goes all the way up to the top. This is going to be about halfway, which is going to make it a lot more important that when I set the temperature to cook this, that I don't let it burn. If this burns to the bottom of the pan, it's going to make it taste sour, and that's not good. So I'm going to grab the sausage and I'll be right back. I have the sausage. putting it in. Notice, tongs. These tongs are the bane of one of my friend's existence, but tongs. This has been in the oven almost an hour, so total. Even I don't want to grab it with my fingers. We're leaving all of the oil in the pan from these and the meat. Again, like I said, this wasn't anything super special. This is just sauce the way we like it. But when this starts cooking, and there goes the sausage, and you start smelling it through the house, it reminds me, especially sitting here making it now, it reminds me of my first apartment with my wife. Our beanbag chairs for furniture, little tiny table, little 13-inch television, and we would just make up a batch of this on the weekends, and spaghetti all week, man, all month. And this is how we saved money to buy a house. We ended up buying a house four houses up from our apartment for $54,000, 1,700 square feet. But we would make this on the weekends. We'd watch TV, we'd play Sega Genesis, hang out with our dogs, and be poor. So, good memories. Memories of a simpler time. I'm gonna mix this up, put it on the stove, and show you all of that, and then I'll get started on AJ's. There's our sauce. I know it looks really thick right now, but it will liquefy as it cooks when all the moisture comes out of the vegetables and some of the juice from the meat. And then the tomato sauce cooks. This'll lighten right up. It won't be so thick. You put this on a burner. You wanna put it on low as your stove will go. And we have to play with one of these burners to get it to do it, but this goes on just like this. Like I said, I know it's real thick, but trust me, it'll get more and more liquefy, watery as we go, and you'll be able to actually spread it on pasta. I put the lid on tight for 10 minutes, and every 10 minutes you're going to come back to this and stir it. When it starts steaming, when it starts not bubbling, but little tiny bubbles come up, and I'll show you that, you want to take the lid and just kitty corner it so some of the moisture can escape. But you want to leave it on for now just so it'll cook. We're trying to get the vegetables in it to cook as well, and that's going to take 2-3 hours. And yes, every 10 minutes you're going to need to come out and stir this. So get a good book, play a video game you can pause, watch a television program you can pause, so that you can come out and just stir this every 10 minutes for 2 to 3 hours. I know it's a pain in the ass, but remember, food of love. Food that takes this kind of effort always ends up being better. So let me clean up and let's start on a cannibal sauce, they call it. Not cannibal like Hannibal. There's not human meat in it. It's just you're able to jar it in mason jars and keep it on your shelf. This, you won't be able to eat it all. So you'll have some, you'll take some out, and then the rest you'll put in little containers and put in the freezer and take out as you need. But with the boy eating pasta as much as he does, I needed to find another way to do it. It's not good to can meat, so we've devised this other way of doing his sauce so that we can jar it and just keep it on the shelf. So let me clean up a little bit, and it's almost exactly like this, just a little bit different of a procedure. I'll be right back. Sometimes even I want to feel beautiful. And even though I have lustrous, beautiful hair, every once in a while, even I need a change of scenery. That's why I'm now selling peroxide in a bottle. In the bottle! Peroxide in a bottle! Because you can go from this to this to this to this. Peroxide in a bottle does this for me. Imagine what it can do for your lady. Peroxide don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Yo, this burns.
Peroxide in a bottle. It's a revolutionary idea.
Warning, do not buy, use, touch, look at, or think about this product. Peroxide in a bottle is harmful if swallowed or used by an idiot. Avoid eye contact, keep out of reach of children, and uncletuses.
Peroxide in a bottle. We have our sauce cooking. I'm stirring every 10 minutes. It's been about 20 minutes. I had to let the family into the kitchen to eat. Normally I would chop up an onion and a pepper, but as you remember, I already have it chopped up. So I'm going to put that in the food processor. This is our second recipe now. This is for something that you can jar and just leave on the shelf that doesn't need to be refrigerated as long as you don't open it. We're going to put them in here, and then we are going to liquefy them. And when that's done, this is going to be a lot like my barbecue episode. We don't want big chunks of vegetables that can potentially break down and go bad in the sauce, so we have to basically liquefy them and then cook them. We'll cook all the moisture out of them, and that way every piece of it gets cooked and there's nothing to go bad once it's submerged in the sauce, which is very acidic. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this going, and when it's done I'll come back. Now that we've liquefied, it's not really liquefied, but really broken down the vegetables, bacon fat, little olive oil in the bottom of your pan, and just like in my chili and in my barbecue sauce, goes on the stove, medium high, and then we'll add these. Welcome to my stove area. Got the heated oil in there. I'm just gonna pour this into the bottom of it, and we are going to cook this until it gets dark. Normally I would brown it if I were doing barbecue sauce or something of that nature, but today I'm just trying to get it cooked so that it doesn't spoil in the jar on the shelf. So I'm gonna go ahead and you can hear my puppy going crazy in the other room. Whisk every time it starts looking like it needs to, and I'll be back in a minute. Almost forgot, you want to put a couple of pinches of salt, a little bit of pepper. You want to season these vegetables. Peppers over here, and they are just going to steam, and a whole bunch of moisture, we're going to sweat them. It's going to come out of it. See, I don't know if you can see that. I can see it. And don't let it burn to the bottom. Just come over and stir it occasionally, and once all the liquid is out of it, we'll be able to add the garlic, and then we can start adding the ingredients. So this is what we want it doing. Sizzling away. All that moisture bubbling out. We've been stirring this sauce every 10 minutes. I still got the lid down on it. It's starting to bubble. Almost all the moisture is out of our vegetables here. You're going to have to play with the temperature of the stove as you do this. Mine was a little high, so I had to turn it down to keep it from burning to the bottom. You're going to have to do that. It's going to take a little bit of common sense. However, I have faith in you. You just keep stirring it until it gets dark and it's releasing less and less steam. This still isn't ready yet. This will take 20-30 minutes, but it's real important that we not put vegetables or meat that can go bad on the shelf. This is what my son's going to be eating, so I need to make sure it's safe. So this is going to take a little extra time while we cook the vegetables, maybe another 10 minutes. I'll come back when we get to that point. Now there's going to come a time where you have to monitor this constantly. Stir every 30 seconds, every minute and a half. You've got to get it to a particular point, and there's no way to do that other than just sit over it and keep stirring so that it doesn't burn, but that it's releasing steam and the moisture that's in it. That sound is something you should be hearing all the time now. And this is why we use a whisk, so that it doesn't stick to the bottom. And we can easily get the pieces off. But they are starting to turn dark and get a little darker, and some of them are turning brown. And I'll show you the difference in a minute. But still need about 5 minutes. Here it is. This is what you're looking for. It's dark. The edges are browning. There's not a lot of moisture being released. I've turned the temperature down to low now. It's very fibrous, and the smell will change. The smell will start to smell nutty instead of what you've been smelling the entire time. That whole plate of vegetables, that big mound, has reduced down to this, and this is what we're looking for. So now we can add the garlic. In this instance, we don't add the garlic and cook the garlic with the rest of the vegetables. Cooking the garlic like that will make it very bitter and nasty tasting. We've got the temperature on low, and we're going to add this garlic at the end for aroma and taste, but it's going to the smell in the house is going to be wonderful from the cooked vegetables, and then this garlic, it's going to be So we put this in, we keep it on low for about a minute and a half, and then normally I would start adding the tomato sauce, the tomato puree, and the paste, but I'm going to remove it from the heat and move back over here so we can add the ingredients normally. But there you go. You just put the garlic in. Give it a stir. And, we're going to let that cook for a minute, maybe 2. We'll see what happens. I'm actually going to turn the heat up just a little bit because I want to get it to release the oils so that I can move over here. So next time you see me, I'll be over there. Silicone oven mitt off the stove onto that. The garlic has just released everything. It's so good. We are going to start on our cans of sauce, and you might get a speed up moment after all, because I don't want to come back over and turn the camera off. So I am going to go ahead and add the same amount. We're going to put 2 cans of puree and the equivalent of 2 big 28-ounce cans of sauce. It's actually going to be 2 30 ounces because these are I have 4 15-ounce cans of the sauce. And yes, I'm going to do the water trick, but at the moment, I'm just going to open cans. And I will speed up in a minute as soon as I give this a mix. I stir it after putting the 2 cans in, because what I want to do is take all that dry, fibrous vegetable and the garlic, and I want to mix it in really well to these first 2 cans, so it almost looks like it came like that with it. This way, as we mix later on, we don't have clumps of this stuff sitting in the bottom of our pan. But you go ahead and mix it in, and once that's ready, we move on. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this up, and I'll see you on the other side. All right, I've gone ahead and put the water in the cans. I know. Woo! You know what that means. It's time to stir the sauce. The previous sauce we made. So, still not quite there, but it's loosening up nice. We'll give this a stir. I'm starting to get steam on the top of the lid, little water droplets. So I think after this next 10 minutes, I may be able to loosen up the lid a little bit. Let it breathe. Yes, in these economic times, it pays to get every last bit out of the can. That was my dog snorting. She apparently doesn't like my corny jokes either. So, alright, I forgot the tomato paste, so I'm going to run and go get that and get rid of this garbage. This isn't as big of a can of paste. This is 12 ounces. It's not the really tiny ones, 3 ounces or 3.5 ounces, whatever those are. But this is the next one up. And there's a reason. Same reason that we're going to add extra water. We don't have the extra fluid and water from the vegetables because we sweat it all out on the stove. So we need to use a little less of the products that we use to sop up moisture, and we need to add a little more fluid to this. And tomato paste is one of those things that we put in to thicken it up and give it a real tomatoey taste. And we don't need that. I whisk all that in, and now, just like before, we just start adding the stuff that we added before. Yes, even in his, I do a cup of wine. It helps him sleep at night. No, I'm just kidding. All the alcohol boils out of it. There's nothing there. Now this can go in my wine fridge until I do chili recipe. And actually I'll put that in the regular fridge downstairs, and when I make chili, I'll use it. I'll probably just put the regular cork back in it. Now, the Italian breadcrumbs, same thing. I'm gonna say about a half a cup. Let's mix that in. About a quarter of a cup of Parmesan cheese. This is basically the same recipe. We just do the technique a little different so that it can be stored unrefrigerated on a shelf. When you go to the grocery store, the shopping centers, this is not refrigerated. And the vegetables, because most of their fluid has been sucked out during the cooking process there, we don't have to worry about that either. And otherwise, we're looking at the basic same exact recipe. A couple bay leaves that you will take out, and then what you do is you jar it, like my canning episode that I did not too long ago when I did the barbecue sauce and the wing sauce. But the same thing, I'm just going to cover the top like you saw in the last thing. That's Italian seasoning, oregano, same. And I know there's oregano in the Italian, but you know, we've got that, a little bit of basil, which I forgot to put in that one, but I'm going to do a second spice stack in that, and that's where I'll put the basil. A little bit of basil, and I think that's it. You mix that all in, and now we can put this on the stove. This is not going to need nearly as long to cook because we're not trying to soften vegetables and everything like that, but one of the things I did want to mention is, like I said, we're going to add a little extra water to this one. 2 cups. Uno. Tuo. Mix that in. You'll smell the wine at that point. It's, oh, this smells good. I can't wait to have spaghetti tonight. And that's it. I'm gonna put this on low, just like that one. Lid tight, probably for about 10 minutes, and then I'll stir, and then 10 minutes with the lid tight again. Then I'll make a call. There'll either be one more 10-minute span with the lid on, and then I'll crack it, and this will cook a lot faster because there's no meat in it, no anything in it. We're just basically heating it up to a point where we kill all the bacteria and everything. So it's acidic anyway. So we'll put this on, and we'll start that when this timer goes off in 3 minutes. I'm gonna clean up and I'll come back. Lucky I still had 3 minutes. Carrot, cut in half, tips cut off it, not peeled. And I forgot to add my sugar. I'm gonna go 3 tablespoons, just like last time. And I think this time I got everything. I'm not sure. If I didn't, I'll come back, but I'm gonna go ahead and mix that up and return it to the stove. I've got 1 minute left, and then I can start the heat on this one. Be back in a minute. Our timer's going off. I'm gonna set it for 10 minutes. Then I'm going to give this one a stir, which is the first pot of sauce we made. And it's starting to come together real nicely. I'll grab the camera and show you. I'm gonna leave the lid off for a second. And then, because I just started the 10-minute timer, I am going to start this one on low as well. Let me grab the camera. Here we go. That's the first batch. It's starting to come together. The mushrooms are starting to soften and get dark. It's actually becoming a lot more liquidy. And then we have this one. Same exact recipe. Just all the vegetables, less the mushrooms, have been chopped up and put in here. And have been like obliterated rather. And then in this one we have our meats and our vegetables in chunk form. No meat, no mushroom, everything was pulverized. We are going to cook them the same way though. We finished our dinner. Both sauces have we've taken off the burner. They're both done. I'm going to show you the difference between the two now. Let me get this off. And let me grab the camera. Alright, that's what it looks like when it's done. Sausage, mushrooms, and that is the other one. It's just smooth. There's nothing there. And so we can can that. We can't can this. We have to freeze this. What we've done is we've made 2 batches of sauce today. One to enjoy now and freeze, and the other one is to can and have available to our son whenever he wants to have sauce and not have to cook it or anything like that. Meatballs, sausages, mushrooms. And I took that garlic I roasted and I squeezed all of the garlic out of the bulb and took a stick of butter and warmed it 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 7 seconds in the microwave and mixed it all up and smashed it and made garlic butter. And so we have that now, and there's little pieces and chunks of the roasted garlic. So garlic bread, spaghetti, homemade sauce, nice and thick. We've got his for canning. And maybe I'll stop and show you the jarred sauce of his afterwards. So there you go. Go make it yourself. I'm friggin' hungry. I'm gonna eat. Okay. I always do that. Why do I do that? Okay. Meat.